Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the third day of August 2022, Wednesday of the 18th week of the year, the 18th week in Ordinary Time. Coming to you still from Long Beach Island, New Jersey, where the surf was beautiful this morning, and as you can see, people have begun to set up already, claiming their spaces. Unlike in North Carolina, there are very few, if any, shaboomies. So it is still the trusty umbrella, the umbrella that works here in New Jersey. So anyway, today's readings, Jeremiah continues. Jeremiah continues with the proclamation of God through Jeremiah to deliver the people of Israel once they stop being such idiots, and once they truly realize what it is that they have lost in following ways that are not truly God's and not understanding God's commandments and things like that. God will deliver them and bring them back to even something more glorious and wonderful. Again, God promises this and God will fulfill it. Again, nothing can ever stop the fulfillment of God's promises. It's important to always realize. However, they can be delayed or they can be hampered, or obstacles can be placed in the way of God's promises being fulfilled by us all the time. It doesn't mean that they will never happen. It means that they will take longer to happen. And so the idea is cooperating with God allows us to be able to experience all the wonders and the beauties and the riches and the fullness and the wholeness of our lives that God promises to us. Jeremiah's prophecy, God speaking to Jeremiah, the prophecy continues of a God who will gather together this remnant of Israel and make it into a glorious nation. Again, so to remember the promises of God always being fulfilled and to never lose hope and to never doubt that. The reading that could have been used yesterday for the Feast of the Portiuncula, the Feast of Our Lady of the Angels, was Gabriel's annunciation to Mary that she would bear the Christ. And the whole understanding of that is that Mary represents in herself that reality and that truth of never giving up on God's promises and never thinking that God's promises would fail. Because of that, she is rewarded with being able to bear the Savior into the world. In the Gospel today, we have that wonderful encounter of Jesus with the Syrophoenician woman or the Samaritan woman. She changes nationalities, she changes dialects as we go through all the Gospels. It's in the Synoptics. In Matthew's Gospel today, the woman has a daughter who is very ill. Again, so she is not a Jew, she is someone else. And she asks Jesus to heal the daughter, and Jesus ignores her. And the apostles basically, and she persists in asking Jesus to heal her daughter. And the apostles basically go to Jesus and say, well, get rid of her, she's a nuisance. And Jesus basically says to her, I've not come for you. All of that, is showing a Jesus who is rude, who is insensitive, who is unkind, who is not a nice person. And try as some might to try to sanitize this and make it all well, the reality is Jesus is a jerk. He does not want to have anything to do with this poor woman and her issues. But she persists, and again, the whole idea about what is fitting for dogs and not fitting for children, or for children and not for dogs. And again, the dogs can eat the scraps that fall from the table. Again, that certain kind of persistence, and that response of that woman, which is carried through in all of the synoptics. Who she is and why she comes to Jesus is one thing, but the idea she says is that, you need to be somebody who helps everybody and not just the chosen few. And Jesus, because of her faith, is able to heal her daughter. Again, this is a Jesus who needs to learn. Who needs to understand in some ways what is his mission and to whom he is called to, and it is not an angel or God or some kind of spirit that tells him that his mission must be universal. It is this woman who is in desperate need of wanting to heal her child, a mother who is in desperate need of wanting her child to be well from her sickness. Jesus responds to that, and the woman's child is made whole. Again, it comes from the mouth of a woman, in the same way that Jesus came from Mary, and the women will be the first witnesses to the resurrection. So too does a woman help Jesus to recognize a fuller understanding of his mission. And may the Lord give you his peace.